that door exploded in a very funny fashion.
It did. Which is not an indictment. Everyone needs a giggle.
Hold the line! Where do you need me? Take up a cannon. On the platform.
Oh, yep, there it comes. Here's the shooter guy part.
Yeah, I mean, you all
Every
knew
video
this was
game's got to have one of these. I hate them. I don't know why. This is one of the worst design things that ever happened in a video game.
Yeah. Especially for like a final battle. Like,
Get all the things you love about this game's combat. What if you didn't?
None of it.
Can I run out there and fight them? Let's see. Don't drop that thing. I'm going after him.
I mean, we
Is
could probably
that-
do this, but it
that's
also
a
probably is going to
sawtooth.
take 3 times as long.
Yeah, I can just run out. What?
Your war on trees
Wait,
continues
come back.
unabated.
Pay attention to me.
Oh no, Josh, the defense. He left the tower,
Oh.
but at what cost to the defense?
All right,
Okay,
let's go
so
get
the
this
answer is
gun.
yes, you can do this, and yeah, it goes exactly like you'd think it would based on how the story set up the situation.
gotta get those level ups in the
Everything
very end.
else. Oh, there's one over there.
Oh boy.
It's really
I'm
hard
just-
to judge distance with this thing.
I watched Noah Caldwell Gervais's the whatever Dead Space thing, and I'm having flashbacks to that where the end of the game is suddenly this kind of ridiculous mini game gun thing.
Yeah.
What games have good machine gun or like
What?
tower fire sequences?
None. I've never had a good one ever.
I can't
It'd be
think of
cool
any.
if this wasn't on fire
real-
right now. Oh boy.
They're kind of fun in
We'll go
Call
do
of
this.
Duty gun. Call of Duty. They're kind of fun in Call of War.
Call of Duty gun thing. Oh, which Call of Duty would that be, Rutskarn?
Call of War as Gunslinger.
Well,
They're kind of fun in Call of War as Gunslinger because that game has like a combo system where like you try to like strain together kills and stuff and like get as many together as possible. So whenever they give you a turret sequence, they really like jack up how many people are coming at you and just kind of let you lean on the trigger and get a really high combo, and it's satisfying. They also don't really overstay their welcome. It's like 2 minutes each, maybe.
In defense of arcade shooters, though, I will say in those situations where the turret mode is fun and what the game is all about, you know, that's when it's fun. I don't think it's fun when you're dealing with like a console or like a PC.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you're going to the arcade and you're playing the Star Wars turret shooter game, where you're like in a Millennium Falcon turret or whatever, great, it's a lot of fun. If you're playing Knights of the Old Republic and trying to keep the Sith interceptors off your ass,
oh man. What's going on here? Oh,
You gotta
okay.
defend the ring.
It took a while for the next wave to spawn.
The other problem with this, if I'm being totally honest, is that it, like, if you're gonna push a special one narrative, don't give her a magic gun that insta-kills everything, because I feel like any one of the soldiers could be doing this.
I mean,
That
there
is the
are
thing.
soldiers doing this. That's the other thing.
She's one of the people.
It makes me think
was
of
that,
that
Rex?
really good sequence in Half-Life 2 Episode 2 where you drive around, like, flinging mines at Striders.
Yeah. It'd be interesting if
fun
this
that
were
was.
somewhat more dynamic. You just go to town with fucking... Oh no. My favorite enemy to fight. Where's that last one?
I bet your favorite enemy to fight was Imposter Kermit.
Hey, we leveled up. Excellent. Awesome. Great. Good job,
the fraud
everyone.
here.
You leveled up earlier, Alex pointed it out. You're just grinding XP.
Do you find it interesting how it's giving me a bunch of XP for this, even though like there's no like after this gameplay. If you load the save after this, it goes to right before this quest starts.
No new game plus?
There is a new game plus, so I guess there's that.
Unless they reset your level, it like depending on what it is, I guess. I don't know what
Be here when that hits.
what happens. in
Oh,
the
that's a
game plus.
Thunderbird over there. And it's just gonna stand right in front of me. What? Come on.
You know, her saying I don't want to be here when that hits. I'm reminded of the Toy Story game. Do you remember that when Buzz would say, "You don't want to be in the way when my laser goes off," and then he would like shoot you with a laser?
Oh my god.
Which Toy Story game are we talking about? Because there
It was
were
the
a number
2D
of
one.
them.
The
Like the side
platformer?
scroller?
Yeah.
I don't remember
It's been
that.
so long since I played that game.
It's Woody's nightmare. He has a nightmare where he has to fight Buzz.
Can I pick this up, please? Okay, I guess not. That's cool.
How far into the game is it?
Give me your gun, buddy.
It's like 2 levels in. It's before you get lost at Pizza Planet.
Okay.
Why doesn't the Thunderbird just fly over?
I mean, now I'm just gonna watch the video just for like reminiscing. So
It's taking a shot at me.
This is a very niche question, and I actually don't know if literally any of you have like the experience to decide this one way or the other. So I'm just gonna open it up to anybody who has an opinion. Which is better, Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters or the Toy Story Midway Mania?
Midway Mania.
what's
Yeah.
Astro Blasters? You mean Buzz Lightyear
I
Space
don't know
Ranger
what that
Spin?
is.
Yeah, that one.
Oh, is that what it's called in Disney World?
Is it the same thing?
Yes. It's effectively
The
same
Toy
thing.
Story Mania is better. It has like way more updated like graphics, and the controls aren't garbo, because like they're falling apart and shit.
And
Like,
that
it's so
was the end of
stiff and,
Horizon
like-
Zero Dawn.
And you don't, and the spinning isn't that fast anyways, so it's not that big of a deal, in my opinion.
I want to agree with you guys, but I just enjoy the shooting gameplay more because of the actual 3-dimensional, like, real targets in the Astro Blasters versus, like, the projections in the Midway Mania.
I can understand that. I can appreciate
Aloy.
that.
Aloy!
Oh, it's Teb.
Aloy! By all mother, you survived. I thought you were killed.
But as overall
die
experience,
or
I would say
Jesus.
the Midway Mania.
No, wounded.
I can also
alive,
see that.
no
I think
sick.
that's fair.
The machines blasted through, then kept going.
That
They
being
marched
said, it's
uninspired,
probably
like
still one of the
nothing.
worst rides to get on.
Take care of yourself. I've gotta go.
Oh, damn. Oh, we have no health, but we do have deflector shields.
We're fine.
We're good. Hi, buddy.
For those who wonder what we're
Just
talking
chill
about,
there.
for some reason, every
those
Disney
corpses?
park has
No.
2 different Toy Story themed games
Uh-oh.
where you're in a cart
They
and have to
blew
shoot
up
at
the
targets.
elevators. Man, that was a dick move. Now how can we get stuck on the elevator for altogether too long? That chain just disappeared. Cool.
This is where I belong, Aloy.
Yeah, I was about to say,
With a smile.
it's really impressive that games can do stuff like this now, but then the chain will disappear, and I feel like that completely underlines the moment, so
Now you face their true son.
I'm just gonna shake my head at the development team. General direction.
So, Red Scar,
Yeah.
you bring up Toy Story rides at Disney World. I still can't believe they decided to go with branding one of them alien spinning saucers.
Yeah.
Because there have been people that show up with shirts that say, "I'm here for the ass," and it's supposed to be a reference
Oh
to
no!
My strength is
I love that. That's great.
No. I will answer your trial.
I don't know, but there's just something so delightful about Disney having like a family screw up where they're like, "Oh God, what have we done? It's inappropriate." It's always funny.
You
Did you
saw what
not
happened
pay
with the
attention
Pixar
to
short.
the... Oh wait, no, that was the Lego MMO. That wasn't Disney.
Like the Pixar, the latest Pixar short had swears in it.
It's begun.
Ooh.
I haven't seen that yet. Is it just on YouTube or...
Which Pixar
I
shirt are
think
you
it's just
talking
on
about?
YouTube. Pearl, the one with the little pink yarn fluff.
Which swears?
They say the word ass, and also I think prick.
Ooh. Oh.
Getting a little hot and heavy here.
All right, the child imagery is a little on the nose.
Oh, I get it. Pearl like P-U-R-L. I see. I was confused.
Oh no, they turned on the Hades button. Now all the machines are back in their... What is up with that? That is a weird effect. Oh, it also hurts trees, I guess. Oh, okay, that's the bio engine. Yeah.
What?
That's how they convert biomass to energy and stuff, and matter to rebuild themselves.
If Hades has started the signal, it must have gotten through the defense.
Now I'm seeing why they did a lot more showing and a lot less telling.
So
Or
I
reverse
have
that.
to get up there.
You know what I mean?
so
It looks stupid.
what do you suppose this final boss fight is going to be? Since none of you have seen it,
Plugging
I don't even know what
into
we're
another-
doing.
we gotta stop
What are we fighting?
Hades. We gotta.
That's the
we gotta fight
computer, right?
Hades. Yeah.
So we're gonna
Last
go
time
and
we
we're
saw
gonna
him,
go
he
to
was in a
call.
metal devil.
Keep pushing.
We're gonna
Either giant-
fight a
Wouldn't be easy.
something, a big. We're gonna go into a cauldron and just do that spinny room again.
Either a giant metal, like, pharaoh robot, or, like, a giant metal, like, dragon type thing.
If it manifests as Ted Faro, that would be amazing.
You can see that. We thought you'd fallen.
Just a
It's just
buck-ass
a color
naked
swap
Ted
of the
Pharaoh.
Helix model.
Look,
Just
there
a
isn't
buck-ass
time
naked
left.
Ted
I
Pharaoh
have to face
running around with a
Hades.
big stick.
Not alone.
It's my fight. I can't ask you to come with me.
Just his clone just popped out of a tube, but he's gone kind of berserk.
Hawk and Thrush, let's go. I should stock up. Last chance.
Wait, stock up on what? Hang on, I gotta raid the supplies. Nope, that's not raiding the supplies. There we go. Cool, I stole all the supplies. Let's go now. Well, I'm happy to say that all of you, every single one of your suggestions is much more creative than what we're actually going to get here. As soon as I figure out how to...
How is my
Get
idea more creative than a
in.
complete rehash of everything we've done?
How about a rehash of the most boring things we've done.
Only the most boring things. We specifically avoided rehashing the interesting things.
Is it climbing? Is it one of those towers? Like one of those, like, long neck
Thankfully
towers?
not that dumb.
Okay. I somehow came up with something more dumb. Don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, so, here's the final boss. It's Deathbringer fight number 4.
Okay.
Oh.
That's it. This is not a big dragon thing or a big super robot or anything. It's just this again.
Oh, and it's in the area
I'm
that
getting,
I
like,
called...
Skyward Sword flashbacks.
It's in the area that I totally called as a boss fight when you were going around talking to all the people. Because I'm like, it's a giant arena, and you know that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's supposed to be some sort of altar to the sun god or whatever, but it's an arena combat. You knew that.
I love the desultory fashion in which Aloy is firing off those arrows.
Ugh.
Oh, my nose! She just looks so bored, like she's so fucking done with this boss fight already, and she hasn't even taken the chip off of its health.
None of this is cool. Sure, whatever. And that's what I meant when I said back in the beginning that you're kind of just supposed to get everything with the skill tree, because, like, you do. Alright, let's do more fire. I don't even have the thing that has the fire tripwires on it, because I never bothered to get it. Oop. Why are you so vulnerable to circle strafing? What if we froze it?
I hate to be a broken record.
It's taking a
and I know
lot
that
to
I am.
freeze this thing.
But, like, I feel like a more constrained game that is shorter, but had, like, more effort put into the... Not effort, that's not the right word, but, like... How cool would this boss fight be if it was a unique monster that we have to use all of the experience we've gained to fight, rather than just it being a health drain, which is what it really is.
Yeah.
Right? Like, this is another version of the same monster we've been fighting, just with more health and some friendos. And it's hard, but it's hard in a real lazy, fakey way. I would love to see a version of this fight that is a completely new robot made from Hades' imagination. It's new vision for the destruction of mankind, and it's going to test it on you.
Yeah, no,
like, that
this
would
is
be cool.
This is really underwhelming as a final boss fight, especially after that Helis stuff, where it was also just kind of lazy and Helis just had a giant health bar, and that was how that went. Would you please fuck off? Are you a... Hang on. No. Are you a Sawtooth or a Ravager? What are you? Hang on. I gotta scan you. It is a Ravager, but its gun didn't go anywhere. Oh well, whatever. Alright. Overheat, damn you. I like how, like, even a fully functional one of these just naturally overheats itself over time.
So were these just buried in the ground, like,
Yeah.
War of the World style?
Yep. Like, that was that whole cutscene with the kid.
Right, but like, then why were the only ones we had access to, like, all damaged and beat up?
I don't know, because Because they didn't want you to have to be fighting one of these things at its full power early on. And then they just occasionally send, like, weaker enemies at you, too. I think we got... Yeah, we got Corruptors up here. That's great. Let's just start dropping this shit.
Time enough to open the shop.
All this jumping. No.
Execute.
Aloy! Beware the Deathbringer!
Okay, here it comes.
Beware the Deathbringer. Life advice. Oh, that went too high. Come on. No. That just didn't hit. That's cool. Yeah, what am I stuck on? See, the thing is, this isn't even all that hard. It's just kind of tedious.
Right.
What is even... It says it's overheated, but it's not opened any panels. Oh no, it wasn't quite overheated. Alright, that is it for Deathbringer.
That was a bad boss fight, straight up.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm more than a threat.
The end.
In retrospect, I should have invested in more than one Deathbringer.
Oh, we're in space now. We're in the Skyrim level up screen, of course. It turns out this game is really just a prequel to Skyrim.
That might be like the same art. It looks very similar.
Master override armed. To activate state name and rank.
Elizabeth Sobek. Alpha Prime.
Master override activated. Purging extinction protocol.
How fucking full of yourself do you have to give yourself a title that's Alpha Prime?
I mean, I would if I could. I just don't think I could get other people to call me Alpha Prime.
Oh, look. They're all dead now. Again. Stab it! Come on! You can do it! Kill it! It's really disappointing because this game's combat system is usually really fun to play, and that was just like, it's just like every other fight with a Deathbringer, except it's got more health and there's occasionally other enemies that are pretty trivial to deal with at this point. I like the lighting effect here, though. Also, those plants look really good. Like, surprisingly good in the wind there.
I mean, it's always been a pretty game, aside from the nighttime lighting.
Yeah.
That's interesting that there's those two characters there, but okay.
They were kind of the, you know... They were the posse.
Oh, no, yeah, more people are showing up from the corners of places.
I don't know where Sona went, though. Or, for that matter, Talana. Where's the Sunhawk? Is she like, Aloy got to fight this big machine and I didn't get to take part.
Yeah, Yeah, we didn't even have to eat dirt.
I kind of felt like we were eating dirt at a couple points there.
Okay, Gaia. Sorry about that.
Did
What was
integrity
This-
restored?
You were telling a story.
Right. Yeah, so, like I was saying, it was a children's electronics kit, but I hacked the wiring to an auto battery and solar PV. So the grass caught fire. And, so did a tall pine that had stood there, I don't know, maybe 100 years.
Query. You were how old?
6. My mother was home, thank God, so she called the fire department, and after, she took me out to the lawn and showed me the dead baby birds, because there were nests in the pine tree.
Query. What did you feel?
I'm not sure. I remember yelling that I didn't care, and that's when my mother took my face in her hands and spoke.
Query. What did she say?
She said I had to care. She said, Elizabeth, being smart will count for nothing if you don't make the world better. You have to use your smarts to count for something. To serve life, not death.
You often tell stories of your mother, but you are childless.
How did she find herself?
I never had time.
Doesn't really matter, does it?
Guess it was for the
She's a
best.
tracker. Come on. There was like blood patterns on the
If you had had a
ground.
child, Elizabeth.
From 1,000 years ago?
For him or her.
It was pig's blood.
I guess I would have wanted
Focus
her.
later.
It's obviously not Elizabeth's blood. It was pig's
Curious.
blood leading to Elizabeth.
And willful, unstoppable, even. But with enough compassion to heal the world. Just a little bit.
Inside the locket, it's a picture of Ted and her.
Anyway, that's all I've got for now, Gaia.
Ted, Travis Tate, and
Time to
her.
dig in.
I wish you a pleasant sleep, Elizabeth.
Thank
Don't
you.
even joke about that. Ted,
catch you tomorrow.
whatever his face is, doesn't deserve an ending.
I feel like
I
that
almost said
scene
Ken
makes up
Tate.
for the disappointment of the last fight.
That was a very nice
bit.
scene.
Yes.
And that's credits. And there is some after credits or mid credits scene that we have here, so we're not just going to skip through this. But yeah, so that was Horizon Zero Dawn.
A land of
Did not get a
contrasts.
chance. We did not get a chance to go and do the DLC, which is a little disappointing. But like, this took a lot longer than I think we expected it would.
I mean, normally I feel like wrapping stuff up because my opinion has changed over the course of a game for better or for worse, but I feel like it hasn't moved that much. It's a gorgeous title that's got some really good writing and some great combat. It just feels like it doesn't know how to necessarily combine those elements meaningfully.
I would say it's a really good attempt for like a first game in a franchise. Like, it's got some problems, but there's a lot of good stuff here. I think the narrative is pretty good. It's delivered a little awkwardly, especially with the sheer number of like standing around listening to audio logs before you can go and listen to the next audio log that happens.
And like I said when we started encountering it, the thematic stuff is there. Like, it works. It's not confused like,
Yeah.
you know, Deus Ex or something. It knows what it's doing. And I can appreciate that a lot, which is part of the reason the writing feels so strong.
Yeah, the whole thing is very coherent thematically, in a way that a lot of video games often falter on. Some of the metaphors are a bit on the nose, but
Still, I'll take it over just confused nonsense.
Yeah, I'll take it over Mass Effect 3 Star Child in a heartbeat. I mean,
Right. You could go a lot worse with this kind of stuff in other games, for sure.
Yeah.
It's just the shame again that like it's so similar to Breath of the Wild in terms of like even down to like the robots under the ground, like in the waking up and stuff, like that's Breath of the Wild does that too, right?
Yeah, it's really unfortunate that those two games came out like within 10 days of each other. Because I feel like Breath of the Wild ended up kind of dominating the conversation that otherwise would have happened around this game.
And you wonder like how much more would have been accredited to like the movement, the climbing system, and the open world design and that kind of stuff.
It looks like it did okay. I looked back, I got an article here that says Horizon Zero Dawn celebrates its first birthday, surpassing 7.6 million sales. So not, for a game this expensive, that's not earth-shattering, but that's...
Yeah.
For a new IP in
Someone's
particular, that's pretty...
disappointed.
I'm sure someone somewhere is disappointed, but it's not... It was not a flop, I'll put it that way.
And I also appreciate that, like, this story is effectively standalone. There's gonna be, we're gonna get a sequel bait, after credits scene here, a la Marvel movies. But, like, aside from that, like, this works. We're not with this, like, we're not left off with this big cliffhanger of, like, oh, what happens, you know, like, so many other game franchises tend to do. Like Deus Ex Mankind Divided was, ugh.
That was
part
half
of
a
that
game.
problem with that was that it was split into two games, and then the second game was canceled. But still, I mean, like, it's actually surprising how well crafted this thing is, given how many video games kind of mess up on that level.
Yeah, I think our problem comes down to specific implementation details, right? Like, it's more like, that lost boss fight kind of sucked. I wish the exposition dungeons found a better way to integrate the exposition, but the problem isn't the exposition itself. It's not the story being told, it's the way they're framing it, the way they're presenting it.
Yeah, and in the whole context of, like, video games in general, that's a pretty good place for your game to be, I think, where, like, it's all good, it's just maybe you could have put it together in a way that was slightly better, helped to keep the momentum of things going.
I almost would rather see, like, if they did a sequel, if I was in charge of a sequel, I'd almost love to see a game that's maybe half as big open world wise, but maybe had a more interesting ecosystem of robots to both fight and also, you know, interact with. If you're gonna do the open world survival thing, make it more interesting than just here's 10 different flavors of monster to fight.
I mean, but at the same time, those monster fights are all really fun.
Absolutely.
It really is like the human stuff, and to an extent fighting the old world robots, and really it's just the Deathbringers that are the problem. The Corruptors are fine, you know. But aside from that, the combat system in this game is really fucking good. It's really fun to play.
I would love to see them, if they're going to keep them, figure out a way to make the traps meaningful. That's one thing that, for example, never got used.
The inventory traps feel like something that's a legacy of some older combat system that didn't make it to the final release, but they're still there for some reason.
Right, like there's not a lot of like tracking and setting up traps, and that's what I mean is like if you're gonna do more of the survival stuff, make it more about setting up traps and the hunting and the tracking, and do interesting open world stuff. Also, I don't know, try to figure out how to make exposition dungeons less exposition dungeony. You're gonna have to have them based on what I know the sequel bait is gonna be, but
yeah.
I hope they introduce romances. That would be cool.
That'd be nice. Especially since it looks like they got part of the way there.
There's too many attractive characters in this game, both male and female, to not do anything with it.
I mean,
and like, really, what did the dialogue options really do? Like, they didn't really do much at all.
No.
Yeah,
no,
the dialogue.
I thought there would be a little bit more with that.
Like, maybe at one point it tied into how you... I don't know. I cannot figure that out.
Like there was like I still think it was like Doomsday option, and you had some choices to make, or maybe a little bit more sway in manipulating the computers for whatever.
Oops.
Josh.
I wasn't touching the controls, so it turned off.
You got low batteries.
I was just like, wait, did the credits end? No.
Are we looping? I feel like we're going through the same area now.
Yeah, I definitely think we've seen some of this stuff already, probably several times now, actually. What happens if I try to skip
Don't try it. I don't want to see this again.
I mean...
I also don't want to see the fight
I'm
again.
reminded of Mirror's Edge Catalyst had an after credits scene. The credits in Mirror's Edge Catalyst are literally like 35 minutes long.
We're at special things. We got to be close.
Rutskarn, what are your thoughts? I haven't heard a lot from you.
I have to be honest here. This is not the kind of game that I find interesting on a fairly fundamental level. I don't like the gameplay loops of open worlds, which are based, largely around building a small skill set, and which you can use to improve kinetic combat, and where the RPG elements are sort of loaded into improving, weapons and ability upgrades and third-person action exploration, like your Assassin's Creed type games. But more than that, something about this game's whole presentation puts me off, and I don't know why. Something
all the
about
white people dressed up in Native American garb.
I wish I could say that I have such a sensitive disposition towards that sort of thing, where I have such a acute.
I shouldn't
sense.
say Native American, by the way, not just Native American.
Yeah. I wish I could say
peoples.
that I have such an acute cultural sense that it would offend me on that visceral level, but no, it's just disinterest. Something about
I don't
the
think
game
it's offensive. I don't think it goes to the area where we need to address it, but we do kind of need to address it in the sense that it is kind of. I find it a little weird, with more some characters more than others. I think.
Right.
Yeah.
That's valid. I'm just saying that I don't have any.
Puts me off a little.
I don't have any high-handed reasons for disliking it. Something about
this is not your kind of game.
Yeah, something about the gameplay and everything. It's just I would never in a million years have bought this game. And so watching it, I've just kind of constantly been yeah, I probably would not enjoy this game very much. I think that it is in many ways laudable. I think that in many ways its design is creditable, that it deserves recognition for some of its accomplishments and kind of the quality of its design and the gameplay. I just don't care about any of it.
And you didn't play Breath of the Wild either, right? So this isn't like a...
No, because to be honest, I don't care about Breath of the Wild either.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure somebody's going to get very upset and ask me to define what the difference is between a game like Breath of the Wild and a game like Morrowind is for me, and I would struggle to answer except to say that I can find myself more immersed in a game like Morrowind than I can in a game like this. I suppose in a game like this, it's just the remoteness of the third-person perspective, but I don't actually feel like I have a part of the societies it depicts. I feel like the societies it depicts are like an arena for me to play in, more than they represent kind of like a world that I'm inhabiting. And I don't have fun just exploring that world. I would say I generally have a bias towards first person rather than third person in this kind of game.
I can see that. And with the Elder Scrolls, you can really interact with the environment in a way that you can't in this game or in The Witcher 3.
Right, you have a sense of place, that you can sit down on that stool, that you can You can sort of poke around in that attic. You can enter all these buildings. I just don't get that from this game.
I don't think it's trying to do that, though. I don't think you're playing this kind of game for immersion.
100% you're not. Right, I guess I'm just, like, defining why I like certain kinds of open world games. Why games like this leave me cold. Like, ultimately, yes, you're playing this game for something else that I think doesn't give me the same sense of satisfaction. There's some genres of video games, mostly third-person video games, that I just don't get any kind of pleasure from.
It's okay, Rutskarn. We understand. You're just keeping yourself pure for Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord.
Yep. It's a lifelong vow of purity.
You're the Mountain Blade monk. You're going to retreat into your mountain hideaway.
Yup.
Alright, I'm going to take a risk and hit the skip button here.
Are you afraid we're not going to see the stinger?
Okay, there we go. I don't think we are. I didn't think that would be a problem, but I was willing to let it go through the other credit sequence, but now it's just like, let's go. Oh no!
Look out! Do you think they would have at least gated it off a little bit?
Yeah.
Some caution tape, perhaps.
Hello, old friend. Remember me? We've still so
Would you
much
play
to
the sequel
discuss.
if Lance Reddick
much
was the
never
protagonist in it?
I would.
Your masters,
I would
example.
play it.
The ones
I
who
would be
saw
more
the
inclined to play a game where Lance Reddick was a protagonist, or much more probably a villain.
Has its rewards, don't you think? Well,
It does kind of pull out as if you're about to start playing as Silence there, doesn't it?
I feel like the thing with Lance Reddick is that he's way too busy to. Oh, that's cool. That's cool design.
Why
I feel
wasn't
like Lance
that the
Reddick
final
is way
boss?
too busy to be a protagonist.
Right, Chris?
Yeah, ending the
Yeah,
game
it's probably
with kind of a limp final boss, and then teasing like a giant spider robot thing is kind of like we ran out of time.
I mean, in fairness, if it did end with a giant mechanical spider, I would not stop making Wild Wild West jokes, so...
Oh, yeah.
Wow, desperate. I do Wild Wild West every single time we go to karaoke, because
Oh my God.
there's not that many songs I like on it in the book a lot of the time. But for some reason, they always have Wild Wild West.
I thought the point of going to karaoke was to sing songs you don't like.
It's more fun to mix and match. Like, you know what's actually a lot of fun to do karaoke? Taylor Swift's Look What You Made Me Do. Anyway, on that extremely
No one has
timely
any opinion on
note,
that.
extremely tiny and relevant note.
Yeah, thanks for joining us for this thing. Gonna do some stuff again at some point. We'll probably do a bunch of patron weeks after this because we need to catch up. Also, we'll probably take a short break. This loading screen will continue forever, however. What?
Just keep it going. Just get a loop. See how long they stay for.
Yeah, okay, so... New Game Plus has been unlocked, so we can do New Game Plus if we want.
No! It's over.
What are you doing, Aloy? Where are we? Oh, we're here. Okay, well. Alright, goodbye everybody. Thanks for watching. DualShock 4 battery level low. It's time.
PS4's blowing in the wind.
Yep, yeah, it is doing that.